3, 2. What is going on, baseball fans? Welcome back to WHADDYA SHEA, our first pre-game Mets stream. I'm excited about this one. We're used to the post games now. We've done some recaps. We've done some videos. Some we haven't done before. We haven't done this yet. I'm excited about Entertainah. We have a lot to talk about. I did not know if the lineup would be released in time. I didn't know if we'd have details on Peterson and his outings. We were going to play this by ear. We saw Peterson against the Phillies last year. I know we both looked into that, so we'll get into that in a second. But let's start with this. Rubber match here. How important is it for you to take this one against the Phillies? I mean, where does this line up? We see the Braves and Nationals clashing. They're in a doubleheader today, so I want to get over 500. I want to be ready to compete in this division.
Yeah, you want to start the year off right. And what's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in. I see Nick the Wick in here, Matt's in here, Simon's in here, John's in here. Thank you to everybody for being here. Josh, thank you to everybody for being here. But yeah, I mean, you want to get off in terms of 1 to 10, it's like a 2. I mean, it's the beginning of the year. I actually thought yesterday's game was the more important game to assure you weren't going to get swept. Because, yeah, if we're being honest going into this game, and I'm not saying we can't win, we definitely can. We're at a disadvantage. They got their number one starter on the hill at home, and we've got Peterson. So this is a game where when you looked at the series before it started, you would have penciled it in for an L. But you would have also penciled in the DeGrom for OW. So I think we got to make up for that first game in which we blew it. Hopefully we could come out with a win today. It will not be easy. Like you said, we'll jump into the matchup. But Aaron Nola, he's pitched fairly well against the Mets. He only had 2 starts against the Mets last year. His first start, he didn't give up an earned run. The second one, he actually gave up 5. So we roughed him up a bit last year in the second start. So maybe we could get a couple of runs against him. As far as the lineup goes, I'm a bit surprised. You know, I'm a bit surprised with the lineup today. We'll dive a little bit further into that. But like you said, you called it with Villar. He's going to be starting at second, and he's batting 6th. Guillermo in there as well at third base, batting 8th.
So I agree, guys. I see the chat, Rocco. We definitely got to get to Nola early. Let's touch on a few things because we went everywhere. One, the Braves ended up winning that game. 7-inning doubleheaders. It's still ridiculous to me. I am not a fan of 7-inning doubleheaders. It is what it is. We weren't even sure. I knew that was what it was, but I didn't see one this season until today. Braves ended up winning 7-6. So they have a win. They didn't lose both today. Unfortunately, we wanted them to lose both. So the Braves are on the scoreboard with the Mets. Peterson, and I want to talk about this Peterson start. So he got roughed up the most last year against the Phillies. It was probably his worst start of the season. Went 2 innings, allowed 5 earned, I believe is what it was. Something around there. And it just wasn't his best start. And now we talked about it yesterday about how best case scenario, 5-6 innings, which would be great. I'm starting to think differently now. I'm starting to think that maybe he's going to go 4. His ceiling is 5 because I think the Mets might want to throw Lucchesi in this game. I have a gut feeling that with how this bullpen set up right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Lucchesi gets in the mix here because, again, you see it with the bullpen yesterday and the day before. We're working hard. We're struggling. We need to get something out of Lucchesi. We said this yesterday, have to get something out of him because we don't really have anyone else. I mean, Betances will probably have to throw today. They could go back to Familia, but we can rule out 3 guys, basically. Casio's not throwing, Loop's not throwing, and May is not throwing.
May's definitely not throwing, yeah.
So it's limited options, and I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind 4 or 5 from Peterson. Then we get maybe 2 or even longer best case scenario out of Lucchesi, and we close the game that way. That would be best case scenario. And then let's touch on VR here. What's up, John? Salute. I want to get to some of these too. Let's get to Nola early. What's up, fellas? Yeah, you said what's good to Nick. Peterson is starting. I see a few of those. What's good, guys? I appreciate you all coming out, by the way. This is why we tell you to turn on the notifications. We didn't know we were doing this till after the show yesterday, but everything lined up. Matt, I don't mind playing VR. But the thing with giving McNeil a day off, I do think it's a little early for a day off on a guy. Like, I don't know the reasoning behind not playing McNeil today. I mean, like, he's not really hitting, but he's not slumping. He's making contact. He's making solid contact. So, I don't know. And he's a lefty.
I didn't look up his splits versus Aaron Nola before the stream, so I'm going to look into that. Maybe that has something to do with it. I'm curious. But, yeah, I don't like him out of the lineup either. I think they're getting a little too cute right now.
I think though maybe it has to do with his defense at third, but like his defense isn't that bad at third. I know you want to go with Guillorme, who's kind of better, but it's like once you have VR out there, you're throwing all. You're throwing the defensive lineup out the window. Like that, it doesn't count anymore because VR is not going to be out there to use his glove. That's why he's batting sixth. And to that point, let's get something out of him today. I'm actually excited. You guys who were listening into the stream yesterday, Entertainer, you did give me the tip of the cap. I did see him, getting playing time today. I did see him getting a start. I saw something happening. My head was in a pretzel. I thought it would be VR or McNeil. I thought it would be McNeil or Guillorme, one way or another. I did not see Guillorme VR, and here we are. And I'm okay with it. I just don't really feel great about McNeil not being in the lineup today. I think he should be out there. I think it's too early in the season. Yeah,
McNeil against Nola. I'm looking at the stats here. Not that bad. I mean, he's a career 6 for 22 for a 273 average, which is pretty good against a top tier pitcher. 455 slugging, 839 OPS with 1 home run and 1 double and 22 ABs. So it's not like he has a horrible history going up against Nola. I'm a little bit surprised. Yeah, it's a day game after a night game. I get that a little bit. Maybe you want to give your players rest, but it's early in the season. They didn't even bench McCann, which is generally what you would think you would do with a day game after a night game. So not really in love with that move. I saw someone in the chat asking, I'm not doing the Mets game today. I'm taking the Mets game off. I'll be doing the Knicks game tonight. But I will be watching the Mets game. We'll talk about it during the Knicks stream. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised with that benching today by the Mets. I'd like to see him start to get out of the funk. And like you said, he doesn't look overmatched at the plate. You want him to get into the swing of things. I'm a big fan of McNeil. I don't like that move, game 3.
Yeah, and he's been slumping since spring. He just hasn't. It's not a slump. That's the thing. It's not a slump. He's seeing the ball well. He's piecing up the ball well. He's swinging at the first pitch. He's doing McNeil things. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Nets, boys. Now you're getting me sidetracked. Durant's back today, so that's big news for any Net fans in there. I want to get off the Mets rant here real quick. When is Diaz going to play, Nick? I think he'll probably play today. I would see some action out of Diaz today unless the game is blown open by the Phillies and there is just no way we can get back into it. I would expect him to at least get an inning of work today. Mike says he thinks that you can see an offensive explosion today off Nola. I think so too. I think Lindor is going to do something today. I think he's going to get another ribby and not through a sac fly. I think Pete's going to stay hot. I think Pete's going to stay hot. He's had a lot of success off Nola in his career. And Nick the Wick, I'm drinking Dunkin'. I told you guys in pre-games, I'm going to drink some coffee with you. This isn't a cup. This is a large. I have a long day ahead of me. Another reason why we're doing this as a pre-game. But light on the milk. I usually go no milk. I've changed it. I've become a black coffee guy, but when we go to Dunkin', we gotta add some stuff to it. It feels dumb because McNeil has even a solid contract. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect McNeil to get many days off moving forward. I really wouldn't, especially with JD out. But I think, look, and I was talking to my buddy before this, I'm not going to make excuses for Rojas. I can't really make sense of why McNeil's out of the lineup. I'd imagine you go rest or he's slumping. But besides that, it doesn't add up. I don't foresee this being something down the road. And with how they like Yorme at third, it's probably more likely that they keep McNeil at second then. Because yesterday we were talking about maybe he plays third. I think what this tells us more than anything is probably Guillorme and VR will probably rotate at third, and then McNeil will probably slide in at second.
I could see that. I'm looking at Nola's splits because I always like to look at that before a game. He's much better at home historically. He's got a 2.98 ERA career at home as opposed to over 4 on the road. But the one thing that does stand out to me, if you're going to get to him, you're going to get to him early. He's got a career 4.18 ERA and 140 innings pitched in the first inning and a 4.25 in the third. As the game wears along, he's much better. A 2.51 in the fourth, 2.86 in the fifth, 3.7 in the sixth. So historically, if you're going to get to Nola, we want to get to him early. You want to try to pounce on him early. He has had success against the Mets in the past for the most part. So will not be easy. And like what you were saying about Peterson before the game, last year I was actually surprised at how good he pitched. I looked into his game logs before today's game. The Phillies game was really the only game that he pitched poorly. It was the only game where he gave up more than 3 earned runs, but it was a game where he got shelled. So big start today by Peterson. I'm sure they're going to, well, we know the lineup. They got McCutcheon back in there. They got Hoskins back in there. Harper, Real Muto, Bohm, Gregorius, Segura, the big top 7 there. So that'll be a challenge. That's what it comes down to for me. I do think the Mets will be able to put up runs, and hopefully they could do it early. It seems like the first couple of games they've struggled early on, but against Nola, at least from his history, you got to pounce on him early. I do think they'll be able to support Peterson with some runs, but Peterson can't go out there and get shelled. We need him to give us at least 5 innings, kind of like you said, and then turn it over to the bullpen and hopefully they do the job, and maybe Lucchesi will be the answer today.
And again, having Lucchesi, like his floor, and that's why I wanted to lower it. I think yesterday we were being optimistic, and then like taking a day to think about it. His floor is 4 innings. Let's get to 4. Let's get to 4. Let's see what Lucchesi has. And then if Lucchesi gets shelled, it's like, well, we had no choice anyways. I mean, really, with how this schedule's lined up, with how many games that the Mets have in a row coming up, our only off day is Friday. This is just the way it is. Every team's dealing with this. Every bullpen in the MLB is getting shelled lately. I mean, really getting shelled. So we, believe it or not, are probably middle packed. It's still, and we have a terrible bullpen. 5-3 Rocco's predicting. I like that score. I would like to see us score more runs, but I like that score. What else do we have in here? Pete, Lindor, Nola. Is this for daily fantasy, Nick the Wick? I do have Lindor and Pete in a daily lineup. I didn't start Nola. I think he could capitalize. I actually, though, on the Philly side of things, I really like Rhys Hoskins today. I think that is...
It's a good it's a good matchup.
I think that's the guy we got to worry about. He's been hot in this series. I don't know why they didn't start him yesterday. Again, that's like a rest day. I don't know why they didn't start him. I feel like he could have killed us. Stevie Mack, I love that you're here, and you're giving me something I already thought about. Replace Rojas with Terry midseason. And I said this to someone. They said Rojas will be gone in a month. And I was like, no, probably midseason. And they're like, no, a month. I could probably see a month. if it doesn't go well, it could be a month. But usually the way things go, we'll get to June and then we'll make a move. But I wouldn't mind. And like probably if we did move on from Rojas, he's the most likely candidate. No,
who, Terry Collins?
Yeah, you got to think.
I tell you what, I have a lot of my friends that are big Met fans, and I always used to defend Terry when he was the Mets manager. They couldn't stand him. They said he's not an X's and O's guy. But the one thing I always say about Terry Collins, I absolutely love that man. He loved his players. The players loved playing for him. They never quit on their manager. I would welcome him back with open arms. I know he's old, but I love Terry Collins. Rojas, not so much. The guy.
He's the opposite. They're the opposite. And like that's the thing. Right now, Rojas's analytics are driving me up a wall. I would rather Terry.
I like Terry. I like Terry. I don't think we'd bring him back, but I do like him. Obviously, he's got a relationship, with our general manager or the guy that's kind of pulling the strings. So with Alderson, but it would be interesting. I always loved Terry.
Well, Terry probably wouldn't get the first nod, honestly, but it's worth the thought. We have a Mage sighting. Mage is here. Yay, the bullpen can't wait. Every game. It's going to be every game. For seasonal fantasy, I would probably start them all. Honestly, I know it conflicts, but worst case scenario, Pete and Lindor don't get it going against Nola, and then we get to that Phillies bullpen, and they could probably round some stuff up because, like Josh said, Pete's been on fire, and he absolutely has. It is Pete season. Polar Bears locking in. You guys know I've been on the Pete train forever, so that's great. John, bring back Terry now. Who doesn't love Terry? I mean, our ass is in the jackpot. I post the video as much as possible when I'm angry. It's great. It's great. We got Chris. I just like the stream. Check out Chris's stream later, too. Check out the Entertainah stream for the Knicks game. I'll be in there watching when I can because if I need to know anything about the Knicks, and they may potentially be playing the Nets in the first round of the playoffs. If they don't continue to lose, I need them to win a little bit more. I have a future on the Knicks.
Knicks got a shot. Today's actually a big game. Them and the Celtics got the same record. It's a big game today for the Knicks.
John, salute to Mage. I already told him, John, MH, I don't know where MH is. He's probably working his day job, but I let Mage know you both miss him. I'm trying to get him to come back, but like I told you guys yesterday, it's Groundhog Day for Mage. He's a working man. It's not easy. It's not easy, and I get it, but he misses you all dearly, and he knows you miss him, so we'll get him on ASAP. There we go. Salute, John. See? I told you. I would not lie to you guys. I try to keep everything intertwined. Let's talk about a few more things in this game, though. So Dom is playing every day. # start Dom Smith every day. Nimmo is at leadoff. So I feel like out of the gates there, the bottom half of the lineup with VR and McCann, and then we're going to have Guillorme. It's not looking very sexy down there. And VR is a high strikeout guy. McCann in the middle. I love McCann's approach, but it's a little jagged. Like, you're going to go from a strikeout guy, then McCann's up, then Guillorme's up. Like, I can see VR striking out, McCann gets on base, and then what's Guillorme going to do? Best case scenario, he moves him over, but then Peterson's up. So it doesn't really And your catcher is going to be running from scoring position. So
looking at this lineup, it's one of those games where we're gonna need to hit a couple of dingers. We're gonna need the top of the order. I don't see us manufacturing a lot of runs. I don't see long rallies with this lineup because, yeah, like you said, you look 6 to 9 outside of McCann, who's all right. I don't really see any guys that strike fear into the heart of the opposing pitcher. So we're gonna need Dom, Pete, Mike, Lindor, and Nimmo to do their thing. And Nimmo's gonna have to continue to do what he's been doing, set the table, and let those guys drive him in.
Yeah. I'll jump into the lineup in a second. Everyone like the stream, please. I appreciate it. Thumbs up. Again, turn notifications on, guys. Subscribe because we're going to sporadically be doing these things. John, we need Mage back too. But this way, just so you guys know when Mage is on the stream, again, when you know, we'll know. I'll throw it in the title of the stream, but you got to have your notifications on to know that. You got to have it on to know that. So make sure you do that. Yes, everyone remembers Terry's iconic rant against the umpire. And you know something? I think that's the one series. And speaking of, Trevor Bauer's on the hill again today. And I'm just counting the days until Trevor Bauer starts to get shelled because he had a really good start his first game. He's pitching again today. Everyone's super high on him. The Dodgers are favorites and everything. I mean, they're playing top notch. I'm not surprised that the Dodgers are playing top notch, but I want to see Bauer get shelled. I really do.
How cool would it be to see a late game in the season? I don't know when we play the Dodgers, but
I'll look it up.
Late in the season, you got Bauer versus Syndergaard going at it on the hill with all their tweet battles. How cool would that be? I got a funny feeling, man, and maybe I'll be proven wrong by the end of the year. I think we're going to see the Dodgers in October. I think you're going to get a Mets-Dodgers series in October.
And I've told you, I'm not scared of them.
No, neither am I.
The Dodgers don't want to see us. That's for shit sure. It can be the same way it went with the World Series appearance. If we're on the road, I don't think it bothers us one bit.
Listen,
and I love how we match up with them.
At the end of the day, I don't, whoever you root for, whether it's the, whatever team, one team you don't want to see in the playoffs is the Mets. Because at the end of the day, we've got Jacob deGrom. And, especially in a short series, you get a guy like deGrom on the hill, he's dangerous, So
yep.
If the Mets get in, they got a shot. Just for the simple reason we got that stud pitcher at the top. Hopefully Syndergaard gets healthy. Carrasco's a good pitcher. Our starting pitching could very well carry us, especially if we could fix this bullpen. But we got to get there first.
So, Bauer did get roughed up towards the end of his game. He started well, John. Shout out to Where Are We Sox. Yeah, I hope you're doing well, too. I appreciate the love on the day stream. Yes, Matt, almost at 500 subs. Let's get to 500. Let's get to 500. It's doable. Let's get to 500. Also, the Dodgers are playing the Mets twice in August, back-to-back weekend series. It's going to be August 13th to 15th, and then a 4-game series the 19th to the 22nd. But that's late in August, so some of those games are going to start to factor in. So they will be meaningful games. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, once DeGrom comes out, it's a shit show. Hopefully now, because it shouldn't be a problem in August, or October, but Lugo will be back, and it won't be a complete shit show. Remember, guys, we love Lugo. We are a pro Lugo stream here. We need him back.
Here's what I'm going to say, man. For as much as we're scared about the bullpen, and trust me, I'm scared about the bullpen. When you get Lugo back, and if Lucchesi transfers to the bullpen and he pitches well, all of a sudden it doesn't look that bad. You have guys that could go in there, could stretch the game if the starter only goes 5 innings. Let's let the season play out. Let's not panic off of 2 games. Yeah, Trevor May looks bad right now. We don't have a lot of faith in some of the other guys in that pen, but let's get Lugo back. Let's see what Lucchesi can do out of the pen. I think we could piece this thing together and add another arm at the deadline, and we could have a solid bullpen. That's what I'm hoping. But Lugo's a big part of it. And like we picked up a number of starters, and we talked about that before the year started, how important that depth is going to be, not just in case guys goes down, but giving you some much-needed innings out of the bullpen.
I've been seeing love, too. Matt, Lugo, Lucchesi, Castro, Diaz, May. I think May gets into a better position. I don't know if he's going to be a straight 8th-inning guy, because if you looked at what he did with the Twins, too, he closed, and he was actually starting games. So he didn't necessarily do the middle work. He's like a Lugo, where he's kind of that Swiss Army knife, but he's struggling to do that right now. I think if we give him more of a solidified role in that 7th inning, where Castro kind of is, and then Castro becomes that spot start or that spot fill-in for May when he's not going, I think it relieves the both of them, because we don't need Castro working any more than he needs to, because He's a fastball pitcher. If he's not locating, that's trouble for us on short rest. And the same kind of with May right now. You're seeing what he's doing on short rest. Big Oso, good morning. What are you on the West Coast? It'd be 12 o'clock on the West Coast. You just wake up.
What's going on there, Big? What's going on there, Big Oso, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy.
I appreciate you coming in, man. Just cracking jokes here. Yep. Listen, Lugo can't pitch every day. We definitely need to make a trade, John. But again, I would like to see Yamamoto come up too. Before we jump and start trading for everyone, we do have people that we could turn to, at least give shots to. I mean, we went out and got Yamamoto. We might as well do something for him. We traded for the guy. Yeah. So, why not see what he can do? If not in the starting rotation, he'll be depth for the starting rotation. But just like Lucchesi today, see what he could do in the pen. It doesn't hurt. We need the arms. Right now, we need the arms. It's all hands on deck. So
another thing I really want to see in this game, and you saw it a little bit, it actually manufactured a run yesterday. I like to see him aggressive on the base paths today. Try to manufacture some runs with some small ball. Maybe some hit and runs. Maybe put Lindor in motion if he gets on base. Send Nimmo. I'd like to see them be more aggressive today, going up against Aaron Nola. Take your shots. You're at a disadvantage to begin with Peterson against Nola on the road. Take your shots. Try to put pressure on their defense. Try to manufacture a couple runs that way. I think the Mets should be aggressive on the base paths today.
You know what that'll take? A manager making the right decisions. We're asking for a lot. We're asking for a lot out of Rojas to make those calls. Another good morning. Good morning, Edgar. Big O, so you work the night shift? Dude, I work night shifts too. We were working the night shift on this stream last night, so I can relate. Hey, you know something? We'll sleep when we're dead. Don't worry about it. We'll sleep when we're dead, Big O. So it's okay. Stick to the grind. And yeah, so we have a speedy team. We need to steal more bases. I'm tired. And yesterday I brought up the defensive indifferences. I'm just tired of the Mets being that team. And no one's worse at it than Syndergaard. But that just always gets ran on. And McCann helps with that because he has the arm. But we're always the team that gets ran on, and we're never the team that runs anymore. Not since Reyes. And come on. Enough is enough.
I will say it's going to be hard to run on Real Muto, though, because that guy's got a cannon. But you have to force the issue. We manufactured a run yesterday. By doing it, by sending him, when it went past the shortstop, we scored a run out of it. We got to be aggressive today and try to manufacture runs that way.
John, 8-4 Mets. That's a bold take. I would love it. Bold take, but it doesn't help Phil out here. DB Phil, you want the Mets to win. You need Nola to do well in fantasy. A lot of hot takes on Nola in fantasy today.
This is what's wrong with fantasy sports. I love fantasy sports. You know that, Tino, and I know you're a big gambling guy. You're a big fantasy guy. I can't do it. That's why I don't like the fantasy aspect, especially in baseball, because you're bound to have players going up against your team because there's so many players. I hate having to root for one guy on the other team to do good, but my team still win. It's hard to have your, to eat your cake too. It's hard if you're rooting, because today, if I'm a Mets fan, I don't care about Aaron Nola. Give up 12 runs for all I care. I want to get this W. But fantasy sports definitely adds that element, which makes it a little bit harder to root for your team.
Well, that happens all the time in fantasy football, especially. Whenever someone's playing the Giants, I think of it all the time. Yeah, Mets over fantasy, I'm the same way. I would take a team win over a fantasy win any day of the week.
Well, that's why in fantasy
especially with football.
If I'm in like a big money league, like my serious leagues, I'm in two $200 leagues that I've been doing for about 15 years, fantasy football. I go out of my way not to draft the Eagles, not to draft Cowboys, and not to draft players on the Washington football team. Now, if a guy's there and he just drops way too far, I got to take him. But I try not to do that because I don't want it to interfere with my fandom. Even though I know I'm not going to be rooting for those guys anyway, I don't even want the thought in the back of my head. Like if I have Dak Prescott on my team, if Dak gets a first down here, I hate that. I hate it.
Well, listen, and the only team I did it last year in a dynasty league, Zeke fell, and I took him, and it just bit me in the ass all last season anyway. So I learned my lesson. Never again. He was doing good. The Cowboys' offense was rolling early on, but he killed me. He was doing so bad, and I couldn't take him out. He was such a valued pick. Pete's defense looks a lot better this year. That's right. He robbed Didi last night. We talked about that extensively in the postgame. Probably the biggest play of the game. Dude, his stretching, his picks, he gets out there. In the first game, he almost made a crazy play too. It shot off his glove to shortstop. Dude, he's deceptively athletic. You think he's just, and I've been saying this, everyone wants to just write him off as a power hitter because he's built like a polar bear. I'm telling you, Pete can handle it. Pete can do work on both sides of the plate. Tino was going to send a super chat, but don't have the option. Hey, listen, we're working on it. Let's get these subs up. Let's keep watching these streams. And that's the plan, guys. Hey, we want to build a community here. We want to talk to you guys. We want to communicate with the chat as much as possible. And that's the overall goal here. You know, the super chats will be great. Obviously, entertainer stream is, you know, the focal point of what the goal would be with WHADDYA SHEA here. But baby steps,
eventually, if this channel grows, hopefully it does, I'm going to turn my Mets streams over to here, and we're going to do exclusive Mets content on this channel because we're trying to grow this channel together and build something big exclusively for the Mets. Right now, obviously, I have a big platform. I love doing the Mets streams. I'm doing it over there because I'm going to get a bigger audience over there, and we're hoping it creates growth for this channel as well. But eventually, all things Mets is going to be on this channel. That's the plan, at least.
And shout out to Mage. Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Jonathan, JD. You JD or Jonathan? I would probably Jonathan with something with a D. They probably call you JD. I assume. But thank you either way. Acuna Jr. looks really good so far. A little worried about that. He's always looked good. I don't know why you're worried about that now. He's always looked good. Acuna Jr., Juan Soto. I mean, Bryce Harper. We got three of the biggest bats probably in baseball in our division. So
you saw the stat yesterday. I couldn't believe it. The five highest OPSs in the National League were all in the NL East last year.
Yeah,
that's insane. And Dom was third, and for some reason he wasn't in our opening day lineup. But we don't need to go back to that.
Let's keep it in the past. At least he's in the lineup today. By the way, I did want to note that we've had 3 games, and 2 of the 3 lineups I've not supported. So he's off to a hot start. Again, 1 out of 3 ain't bad in baseball, but I'm not trying to bet 300 every 3 days with our lineup. Will I be getting on the Mets play-by-plays at some point, fan with a mic? That's the plan.
Yeah.
We just have to line it up just like this. We didn't really know the pregame was going to get going until everything started happening. So yeah, if everything lines up, sure. Yeah, 100%. We'll have to line it up probably more towards, you know, the tail end of basketball and everything when things aren't as hectic. Shout out to my man Macron in here. Cut Familia. I wish. Get him out of here. Take the pay loss. We'll see. Honestly, the thing is, we probably need him right now more than we think. Again, we talk about pitching depth in this bullpen, and it's going to get bad soon. I'm telling you, it's going to get bad soon because we're getting a lot out of our starters. Noah, Jacob, and Marcus both gave us quality starts. Wait till someone gets shelled, and we got to take him out in the second, third inning, and it's all hands on deck. It's going to be a problem. That happens. That happens often.
Hey, man, listen, our starters so far, and hopefully Peterson could keep this up, 12 innings, 1 run. 12 innings, 1 run, and it was a solo homer. Outside of that, they've been flawless. Granted, DeGrom almost gave up a home run, but near flawless from our starters, as good as you could ask for. It's the bullpen we got to worry about.
Are we excited about Taijuan Walker's start? I am.
Yeah, I am. I actually like Walker. I think he's got upside. I like Walker.
And that's a home opener. I can't wait to see fans back in Citi Field. I'm a little disheartened. And Matt, actually, shout out to Matt. We're supposed to be at that game. Matt is part of the crew I go to those home games with, and we can't go.
I was looking at the prices for Met games. Not bad.
After the home opener, it's not bad. But the home
$12. You go to a game for $12.
Oh, yeah. The weekend, on the weekend for sure. The Marlins especially. Marlins games are the best games to go to because it's back a couple of years ago. It was definitely the most fun to go to. I think I went with Matt, actually. We went to a Marlins game where Jake pitched. We bet the Mets. It was an automatic win. You knew DeGrom was going to get his Ks over. It was great. Back when you could beat up on the Marlins. They're pretty good this year, but we did talk about that. Speaking of Walker's start, we are missing the 2 best arms in the Marlins pitching rotation going into that series, which is nice. Alcantara is going to pitch against the Cardinals, and Pablo Lopez is on the hill today. Don't sleep on the Marlins. They're better than people think. Like the whole division's good. The whole division is good. I'm telling you guys right now. So it's not going to be easy, any of these divisional series at all.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that for sure. The Marlins last year, probably the biggest surprise in all baseball, making the playoffs. I don't see that happening again, but they're a pesky team. And it always seems like they always give us fits. You know, you always pencil them in for an automatic win. I just always feel like they give us fits. But whenever we go to Miami, we got more fans than they do.
JD, I didn't see your question, but I'll refer to it on this one. Yeah, so Rojas is definitely in hot water on this fan base. He didn't do himself any favors. All right. Opening day with a lineup no one's ever seen before.
Realistically speaking, how long of a leash do you think he has? Because he only managed 60 games last year. How long of a leash? New ownership, new regime.
I don't think it's that long. I don't think it's that long for that reason.
Because we've seen that before. We've seen midseason firings by the New York Mets. They did it with Manuel. They fired him, and they did it with Randolph rather. When they hired Randolph,
and then they brought in Manuel.
I remember the Mets, the scummiest thing ever. The Mets had a really good year, obviously in 2006. They fired Randolph in 7, right? Or was it 8? 7 or 8, and they were on a West Coast road trip. They weren't even home. And mid-road trip, it was like the middle of the season, they fired him. They let Willie Randolph go. So the Mets do have a history of doing that. So maybe they could fire Rojas mid-season and make a managerial change. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully they're playing so good we have no reason to make a change.
That was a mess, man. It was a mess. I remember that distinctly. But those are the days of the Mets we tried to forget because we're now turning a page, new ownership. But, I think you're right, 60 games max. But we're not playing the short season here. I mean, last year it was 60 games. It was still a full season. And honestly, to start, I kind of have seen enough. That's the thing. Like, I know what we're gonna get out of Rojas. And the thing is, too, if you pay attention to his press conferences after the game, I just don't love it. Like, I don't love the leader he is.
He's a yes man. He's a yes man.
I don't love it. Yeah.
He's not the manager that. It's what I don't like. It's what I did not like about the Mets when they made the managerial decision. Because to me, there were guys with much higher credentials out there. Girardi's not a yes man. Girardi's not going to be a guy that sits on his butt and lets you tell him what to do. And the Mets wanted a yes man. I feel like the Mets are analytically driven, and they wanted a manager in there that does what the guys like Sandy Alderson want them to do. I'm not a fan of the hire.
Rojas looks more nervous about the bullpen than me. I think you're right. You want to know something too? If you guys go back to the post game yesterday, he's talking about how he had the game ball for Steve Cohen. He's going to bring back the game ball to Steve Cohen, but he delivered it so odd, and he was trying to send it as a message like it was a team effort thing. But like he was like the third person who found out about it. Like that's a problem. That's a problem. I'm sorry. Like, and it's so forced. It's just like fire Rojas, hire Mage. I'm actually not. I'm down with that. Like, that's not a bad idea.
I think Mage could be a pretty good manager.
I think so too.
He's kind of got that friendly personality, but he's also seems like, don't piss me off.
He's going to be a player's coach with like a fine line as a hook. Like, he's going to know how to manage that bullpen. Rojas is a Jason Garrett of baseball. Don't say that. Don't say that. JD, so this was your question. How do we feel about No McNeil today? We started the show off basically talking about it. I can't make sense of it. I don't know why he's not starting other than he hasn't really put together a hit or rest, but still, you don't need rest 3 games into the season. And he's not slumping because he still hits the shit out of the ball just fine. Like, he's making contact. He hit the hardest ball 2 days ago. It doesn't really add up to me. I don't get it. We were on the stream talking about how it would make sense for VR to see some reps. But the fact that VR and Guillorme are going to start at the same time, I don't know. I can't really make any sense out of that. Let's see what else we got here.
What Mets player, Jonathan's got, what Mets player do you guys feel has the most pressure to, that's a good one. What Mets player do you guys feel has the most pressure to produce a solid season? Okay, I'm going to give you a couple answers there. Mm-hmm. First one I'm going to say on the offensive end is Conforto because he's in a contract year. So I think he's got a lot of pressure on him. And I think he will produce. I believe in Conforto. I think he's a damn good ball player. But because of the contract year, I think he's got a lot of pressure on him this year to try to duplicate what he did in that 60-game season last year. And on the pitching end, it's for the same reason. It's why I actually think he's going to have a very good year. Strowman again, a guy that's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. I think both those players have a tremendous amount of pressure to have strong years this year, being that they're going to be free agents at the conclusion of the year.
So I would have went with JD because he's battling for that third base spot, but I don't want to say that because now that he's hurt. But that's really it, because now as soon as he got hurt, I saw Twitter blowing up. Hey, Chris Bryant, let's get the deal done. Also, I do want to address this. Yeah, New Jersey's UFOs, secret space, chemtrails. That what a name that is. But you spent $400 on the Mets to win what in AC? Can you let me know? I put a futures on them to win the division and potentially the World Series.
What's the odds, if you don't mind me asking, on the Mets?
I'll check it live for you right now. They're pretty much they're up there.
You're in Jersey, so you can make the bet on your phone right now, couldn't you?
Yeah. Hey,
you know what? I'm gonna have to set up a Cash App link with you. I'm gonna have to send you some money to place a bet for me for the Giants to win the East, and I may put a couple of dollars in on the Mets as well. What's the odds? Let me hear the odds.
So I'm getting to the Mets odds, but I could tell you the Giants because I just looked back. So now they're back to the third. They were the worst. They were at 5-1. Then it went down to like 4.5-1. It might still be there, but now they're under the Eagles. The Eagles now officially have the worst odds in the division, which should have been the case from the beginning. Hold on, World Series. So the Mets have the 5th best odds, 10-1.
10-1's not bad. That's about
win the game today. The Mets as dogs. I like it. Fuck it.
Oh, you prefer on the Mets as dogs?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Mets are dogs today.
They have to be. They have to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got a tough pitching matchup here with Nola versus Peterson. But
let me know what you got that line in at. Yes, I wanted to do it to see my first baseball. Yeah, listen, you don't have to justify your bets to me. I've made a lot crazier bets for a lot less reasons. So I get it. Everyone's got a reason, but yes, potential Lucchesi signing today. I think so. I think a potential Lucchesi signing is likely. Very likely.
What's the book on Lucchesi? What's his repertoire? I don't know a ton about him.
I know he's got nasty breaking ball stuff. Obviously a lefty. His and Matt can relate to this. His pitching windup, or even when he goes to the stretch, it's going to bother you. It's going to bother you when you see it. I'm going to look at his pitches right now because I want to get a better idea of what he has. I know he has a breaking ball. I don't know if it's a curve. I don't think it's 12.6. But nonetheless, yeah, I did see him pitch in spring, and his pitching rotation, his pitching windup is just like a headache. If I were a hitter, yeah, it's a curve. Yeah, his signature pitch is a curve. That's what Josh said. That's what I thought, and it's very slow. It's like a slow delivery. Yeah, I'll look it up. We don't even have him on the depth chart here, so I got to look him up on MLB, which is crazy. Like, I don't understand why ESPN doesn't update this shit. I go to ESPN sometimes just for the quick stuff, and it's like you can't even rely on it a little bit. Yeah, line was plus 134. That's about right. It seems that way. Yeah, curve. I'm gonna take you guys. Yeah, I'll take you guys for your word. I thought it was a curve.
Yeah. And Ishan says, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I have never seen so many Mets fans actively root for one of our own to fail more than they do with Strowman. It's unbelievable.
You want to go first?
No. I'll let you start.
It's not that we're trying to like actively see him fail. I think it's more that last year he talked a lot about how he was going to succeed and this team was going to succeed, and he just bailed. And so it's hard to support a guy that kind of left you hanging. And it's not that we want to see him fail either. And like we said, the pressure's on him more. He's in a contract year, and right now he's making like $18 million. He's got to justify that. He hasn't won a Cy Young. He hasn't even been there in the conversation for like 5 years. So
yeah, and I think a lot of Met fans, and I like Strowman. You know, I said before the year, I think Strowman's gonna have a good year, but I think a lot of Met fans saw us let Wheeler go, and they saw us bring in Strowman, and you know, a lot of Mets fans didn't like that. Wheeler was a good pitcher for the Mets, so I think that has something to do with it as well. But yeah, like you said, him sitting out last year, I think is the biggest culprit.
I would rather Wheeler over Strowman.
Wheeler's got really good stuff.
I always would have rather that. And it was just such a weird falling out for Wheeler. We talked about this on the stream. Still the weirdest trade that didn't happen, that almost happened, was the Wilmer Flores trade, infamously, because it would have been Flores and Wheeler for Carlos Gomez, which would have been one of the worst trades in Mets history. Like, it's not even close. Like, that's bad.
Now let me ask you about Wheeler. If Cohen was the owner, is Wheeler still a Met?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I do think so. Because for the same reason, I think Syndergaard will stay with the Mets next year, too, because he's in the same situation as Strowman, and that's why I give the nod to Syndergaard. I think that, something needs to be said for those homegrown guys, and that's why I think Conforto, too. I feel like Stevie, the way he is, Uncle Stevie, to most of you guys out there, yeah. I'm on a first-name basis with him. I dropped the uncle. I just think something is said about that. He focuses on building that farm system for that reason. I think he wants to keep people with the Mets. I think it sets a good precedent. Look what the Dodgers have done too. He talks about wanting to be the Dodgers. The Dodgers are the prime example of that. Seager, Lux is up there now. Bellinger's been there. You know, they add the fancy pieces, but they've had guys there. And they also have Justin Turner from us too, so maybe we should keep our homegrown guys for that reason as well. And he's a Met fan, so he's definitely seen us get burnt by not keeping our guys. So yeah, I definitely think Wheeler would have been here. Strowman needs to produce. Bold predictions today. Who's your player of the game? Ooh. Now, you want it bold, or you want like who I actually think is going to be player of the game? I still think Pete's going to be player of the game.
Let me take a quick look at Aaron Nola versus the Mets players, and I'll tell you who I think is going to hit him today.
I think it's going to be someone. The bold take would be someone in the bottom of the order. I think VR either goes yard or maybe McCann. Oh, if you want bold, it'll be that they pitch Pete and Dom closer at 4-5. And VR maybe gets a softball that he could handle from the left-hand side. That would be a bold take. And then, I mean, McCann for the same reason. If VR strikes out, maybe he'll have the runners in scoring position. But that's how I would see it. Maybe they pitch. We're going to have 4, 5, 6. They pitch Pete and Dom a little closer. One of them gets on base, and one of those bottom guys will be able to get him in. Nimmo. Man, I like your take. Oh, Nick the Wick, too. We got some Nimmo love in the chat today. Isan. Wow. Everyone. Nimmo. All right.
I'm gonna give you my guy. He doesn't have a great history against him though, but he has driven in 4. You know what? No, I'm not gonna go with him. I'm gonna change it. I'll go with. Give me Pete. I think Pete's 3 for 11 lifetime against Nola. That's almost a 300 average. He looks like he's swinging the bat well. He had a nice double in the gap yesterday. He's got 1 home run and 11 at bats against him. I'll go with Pete. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Pete as the player of the game today. I love Nimmo though. I'm a big Nimmo guy. You know that. Nimmo's he might be my favorite player on the team. I love him. And Nimmo, I'll tell you what, the key player to this game is probably Nimmo. Because we got to set the table for those 4 hitters behind him. We talked about the gap, with Villar starting now, that gap from 6 to 9. We need Nimmo to get on base and set the table for the 4 hitters behind him. I'd like to say Lindor. I don't know his stats lifetime against all. I'd like to say Lindor, but I think Nimmo's the key player, but I'll go with Pete as the player of the game.
Nimmo is an on-base machine, and for that reason, I think, and what you were saying, we got to get to him early. Take a walk to start the game. Let's have a good at-bat right out of the gates against Nola. Get on base, get hit. I don't know why. Also, the Mets get hit more than any team in the league. It's absurd. McNeil and Nimmo, and then JD getting hit. It's like, why does everyone just plunk the Mets? It's absolutely ridiculous. DeGrom, Syndergaard are going to be Mets for life. I think so, too. I think they both will be Mets for life. Yeah, look, and his on-base numbers, there was no doubting that with Nimmo. It was more about him getting quality ABs and then improving in center field. But he took a good angle on that Harper ball yesterday in the gap. He was positioned well, too, which was good to see. He was back. They said he's going to start back this season instead of so up. And I think that's huge. I think it's helped him a lot. It did affect him in left field. He had to come in on a ball, and he was short in that first game. But, still, I like to see him making improvements. Conforto flies under the radar here in our 3-hole. He's there to stay, apparently, and he's been hitting really well.
He's got to stay there. He's got to stay. Conforto's, that's what he is. He's a 3-hitter. And unless you're batting Lindor there, maybe you want to drop Conforto to 5, but he's got to be in that 3-4-5 area. Got a big hit yesterday. Conforto's another one of the guys I love. Homegrown Met. I think the 2 guys I think are gonna have a big year are him because of the contract year, and I think Nimmo because I think guys are gonna get on base for him. So, but yeah, Conforto's a big key to this game as well. Top 5 hitters got to come through today.
We got some Guillorme love here. We're thinking Jason Kelsey, aka Luis Guillorme, is gonna do it on both sides of the ball, and he's calling his shot a double and a walk twice. Okay, that's a good day. And if he saves a run, if he makes a nice play with his glove, I could see it. Also, I like calling your shots, guys. Call your shots in the chat whenever possible. You can ask Matt Crone in the chat here. Called my shot, said DeGrom's going 2 for 2 opening day. Said it. He went 2 for 3. He was started 2 for 2. Call your shots. Put it into the air. Get that energy going for the Mets. We need that. We need some Guillorme love. Someone's got to give it to him. Someone's got to give. He's in the 8-hole. He's not getting any love from this team, so someone's got to give it to him. If DeGrom was pitching, they'd probably bat him 9. But yeah, so huge positive from last night's game.
That is a great point. And I said that during my stream, Matt. That's a great point. he did play that ball very well off the wall. That's a great point with Dom Smith.
I still don't think Dom's that bad at fielding.
He's
I
okay.
think his first season, he stunk. But they were asking a lot for him. Like, infamously, if you go back, that one play against San Francisco, in San Francisco, I remember it vividly, but it was ugly. It was like a bloop. The game was like it was
I streamed that game. I flipped out. It was to lose the game, a pop-up that he dropped or fell in front of him, whatever it was.
But he gets a bad rap for that. He shouldn't have been out there at the time. He had no reps.
And that game, you saw it the entire game. He was so uncomfortable. I was saying it the entire stream. Even when he caught the ball, he looked shaky out there. He's definitely better than he was then. He's definitely become more accustomed to playing the outfield than he did then.
Well, since last year, and then even last year, he split time at first and the outfield. This is like any sport's the same. Game speed. He needs to be out in left field, and that was the same reason I was saying he should start opening day. One, he deserved it, but two, you got to have him out there. You instill the confidence, and it's reps. It is reps. It's high-pressure situations, and he's going to be a guy out there in those high-pressure situations for us. So he should be playing all the games that matter, and I'm glad to see that he's out there today. Don't touch him, Luis. Don't touch him. Keep him in the 5-hole behind Pete. Please, my God. Lindor will have 3 hits today. I hope so. I'm probably going to bet on his over and hits again. I bet it over 1.5 the first game. Lost that. It wasn't his fault, but yeah, I hope so.
I'm going to give another key player to this game. McCann. Yeah, I think that you're going to see. I think they're going to get base runners, and I think they're going to test him. I think McCann's a key player in this game defensively, keeping runners on first base, and like we said earlier, he's kind of the only threat in the bottom half of that order. I think McCann and Nimmo are probably the 2 big key players in this game.
But what I do like, and something we'll have to watch, and if Lucchesi comes in, we got lefties holding on runners at first now, which is a lot better than having a righty. Obviously, for anyone who's pitched, just naturally, his move's going to be a lot easier for holding him on. So I don't mind it. I hope he keeps him close enough that McCann has a shot because, and not for nothing, too. I did like – yesterday we stole a run, didn't we?
Yeah, we did when we tried to steal second base. We did, yeah.
Yep, yeah. So things like that happen all the time. So I would like in a situation like that, first and third, for us to give McCann a chance to at least get the runner at second and reverse. JT is great, but obviously the best can't be perfect every time. So in situations like that, let's give our guys a chance. And on the other side of things, I think you're right. I would love to see that again. I would love to see us do something like that again. And that was aggressive. That was with 2 outs. Nimmo was at first.
Yep,
I love that.
They got to do something like that today. I mean, you like we said, they got the pitching advantage. You got to force it. You got to put the pressure on their defense and try to manufacture some runs against Noel. We all know Noel's a good pitcher, so got to find ways to create runs.
Helps having Lindor out there getting the throw and tagging the runner out. You're right. And I was watching the Yankee game. I think this was probably opening day for them. They lost, but Glaber played a ball terribly, and I know he's not great at shortstop, and everyone wants him to go to second. But sometimes you got to make that decision. To get off the base and, make a play on the ball. Don't worry about the runner because if that ball goes to the outfield, runner at third is going to score. So, Matt, I talked about the defensive indifferences. It's a bad look. It didn't matter. Familia can't handle more than one thing at one time. We had to focus on him throwing strikes. So
that's where my head was. I agree. It doesn't look good, but my head was just don't worry about it. I think there was as much to try to screw with Familia's head as anything else. I was like, don't worry about it. Just focus on getting the batter. That run doesn't mean anything. But, yes, it definitely looked bad last night.
So I'm trying to see this right now. So they just released the makeup days for opening day. I just want to check this out. So June 19th will be a doubleheader at Nationals Park. So it'll be June 19th, June 28th, and then September 4th. So they are spacing it out, which I figured.
Oh, that's what is that? The game you're going to get because you didn't get to go to opening
day?
No, because of the because of the
whole cancellation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole cancellation. So we're going to space it out. We'll get 2 doubleheaders pretty much within 10 days of each other, and then we don't play another one until September. But so that's that. What else do we have here? 1-0 Dodgers. The Dodgers are just not going anywhere, guys. And unfortunately for anyone who thought it would be the Padres year, and I was one of those guys that was rooting for the Padres to finally, get past the Dodgers. I wasn't optimistic about it, but I was like, yeah, maybe they can do it. I don't think it's going to happen, man. They're just loaded. They're so loaded. It's ridiculous. But something, still not scared. When they play the Mets, I'm not scared. All that top heaviness comes crashing down. Have your success. Hit your over. I think they had the highest over-under total in Vegas in years, like decades. I think it was at like 103, 104, which is insane.
That's what it was?
It was over 100. It was 100 plus, and
Wow.
it was nuts. And everyone's just like, well, you got to take the under because there's just too much room for error there. Anyone gets hurt. But they're doing this shit. They don't even have Bellinger right now, and they're still good. Max Muncy's playing out of his mind. Corey Seager's on another level. I don't even know like when Corey Seager just decided to turn this shit on, but he's playing very, very well. And part of the reason why when we were working on that Lindor extension, I said that for that reason, that we were going to get it done because no one else is going to sign him. The Dodgers would probably be the only team, and they have a shortstop in Seager. They love Corey Seager, and I don't blame them. All right, let's get to some questions here. Do we have confidence in Edwin Diaz? I haven't seen him pitch yet, so I will say yes for now.
I don't hate Diaz. I know Met fans can't stand the guy. He really struggled his first year. I don't hate Diaz. I actually think he's going to have a good year. I don't know if he's going to be incredible, but I think he'll be a good closer. I don't know if he'll be incredible. Hopefully he is, like what we expected when we got him, but I think he'll be a good closer. My worries are elsewhere in this bullpen.
King J, appreciate you coming in for a couple minutes. Any minute helps. LFGM, guys. LFGM. New era. We're a new era. Put that F in there.
What's going on, King J?
Confident that Diaz can be a top 5 closer. Matt, I think you have the right mindset here, too, by saying you got to go into the season high on Diaz or you won't make it. It's true. We haven't even seen him pitch yet. If we're too pessimistic on it, we're going to need to like swallow a pill bottle to get through 162 games.
I think he's going to be solid this year. I'm not going to set my expectations too high. He's going to blow some games, but I think he'll be stable for us in the closer role.
What bothers me is that I was a fan of Diaz. When he was in Seattle, I had him on fantasy. He was a steal. Insane. His stuff is so good.
No,
I don't understand.
He was the best reliever. He was the best reliever in baseball.
He had 60 saves. What happened? I don't know what happened.
Man, you know as well as I do, not all athletes are built for New York. Mm-hmm. And I think his rookie year, same thing happened to Beltran. Remember Beltran's first year here, he didn't perform. I mean, I just pulled my headphones out. People were definitely way down on Beltran. He did not live up to that contract at all. And then he got adjusted to New York. He started to play better. I think New York has a lot to do with it. I think it adds pressure. But when you come to New York, the fans expect a lot. It's a lot easier to pitch in Seattle than New York. So I think that had something to do with it. Also changing leagues, getting to learn the new hitters. That maybe had a little bit to do with it as well. But I think he will have a good year this year. I really do. I think Diaz will be good for the Mets.
Why are we talking about Wilson Ramos, guys? Let's just block that out. Was decent, but his defensive failures cost us games. I mean, he wasn't even that good offensively, though.
Guy couldn't block the plate.
It's night and day. Watching McCann yesterday, and we hyped it up enough, but seriously, he makes a lot of that stuff look super easy.
I'm not even talking about the balls in the dirt. I'm talking about blocking the plate on a play at the plate. The guy couldn't block the plate. He left the plate open every time, and a play at the plate. I couldn't stand it.
Can't move. Can't move his legs. Yeah. I love the LFGMs, guys. Keep them coming. Only LFGMs for now on, because it's true. It's true. Pete set the tone when he said it, and that's what we are moving forward. Let's fucking go, Mets. Love it. Let's see what else. Living in California. Yeah, you know something, though? I like Gavin Lux. I got a lot of his rookie stuff, and I think he was a guy that might have been on a Clint Frazier trail, like with the Yankees. They just had so much talent at that position that they couldn't find a spot for him, and he was never finding a chance on this roster. Last year, he started with the team, then got sent down, and then because it was a weird season, he never got called back up. Like, good for Lux. I like Gavin Lux as a player, honestly. It just – the Dodgers are so good that literally their highest prospect was good enough to be in the bigs, and they were just like, we can't. We're gonna win a World Series without you, bud. I'm sorry. Like it's mind-boggling how good that was. George, what's up, man?
What's going on? What's going on, George? Man, thanks for popping in, buddy. No, I'm not streaming the Mets game today. I'm taking the day off. Doing the Knicks game tonight. I love doing the Mets streams, but I cannot do every game. Those are like 4-hour streams. Those take a lot out.
Looking forward to that though. Kristaps is looking forward to that Knicks stream. Let me tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Rojas going to the same 2 arms out of the pen? I think it's early, Patrick, and we talked about it. Those were our guys. I think those are the go-to guys, and that shows that they're not fully confident in Betances and Familia, even really in the slightest, and we had to go to Familia yesterday. That's why you see them using Castro and May. Until Lugo comes back, I think those are the 2 guys they need to rely on to get to Diaz in an ideal situation. But again, it's going to get hard to do, especially when they pitch back-to-back. So we need to start getting confidence in some other guys. What do we think about Roberts? I think he needs another shot in the 7th inning.
Somebody asked about Shea. Yeah, I miss Shea a lot. You know, some of my what's up there, Pete, man. Thanks for popping in, buddy. Shea, all my best memories as a Mets fan are at Shea Stadium. And I say it all the time. Our stadium now, it's, in my opinion, one of the nice. I've been to 12 stadiums. It's probably the nicest stadium I've been to. I love Citi Field. I think they did a great job in terms of the architecture, how they built it. You could get a good view of the game no matter where you are. Shea Stadium was not that way at all. It was an old rundown stadium, but my great memories are from Shea Stadium, and I miss it. I do miss it.
I sat the last game I probably went to. I was mezzanine level, and like there was still a pillar in my face, like blocking home plate. But it was great. I mean, I love Shea. I'll never forget it. My first game ever, I got a foul ball from Movan. I tell the story all the time. Not a foul ball. It was the end of the inning. He tossed it to me. I was young enough that he actually gave me the ball, and no one was in the stadium. This had to have been 2003, 2002, I'd say, towards the tail end of the World Series. And yeah, no one was there. Afternoon game. And I remember just being so like excited to just like see empty seats. And then when you're older, I just realized how depressing that actually is. You know what I mean? It's like no one went to the game at all. Like we were at that point. Yeah, it was I think it was right before Mike Phillips, right? Mike Phillips was Mike Jacobs.
Mike Jacobs.
Right before he got called up. It was maybe a year before he got called up.
You're thinking of Jason Phillips. He was the catcher.
Yeah, so Jason Phillips was on the team then.
Yeah, he had the funky goggles. Yeah, but Jacobs had that one good year for us, and then he kind of tailed off. But yeah, that the only foul ball I've ever caught was off the bat of Ty Wigginton. Actually, it was a home run in batting practice.
Ty Wigginton. Wow.
Getting wiggy with it. Getting wiggy with it. That was my home run catch, but it was batting practice. I was in the picnic area at Shea Stadium.
McNeil is not hurt. I don't know why he's not in the lineup, but hey, whatever. And, you know, something we do got to address, though, is that our depth is kind of depleted now because, again, VR was our best bench bat. He's now in the starting lineup. We had Dom on the bench to start the game. He was also a bench bat. He's now in the lineup. So McNeil kind of takes over that role where he's going to be the pinch hit guy. And, you know, he might stay in the game. Maybe we get a double switch going or something. It'd have to be for VR. I don't know. It'd have to be an ideal situation to pull that off. And we don't really have the arms to, like, manage a double switch the way I think we'd want to. But, yeah, hey, listen, beautiful memories at Shea Stadium. What else do we have here? Yeah, stand up. That's right.
Hey, give me a final. Give me a final. Give me a final.
Oh, we want a final. Well, yesterday I said 5-3, 4-3. We needed to win. We need to win it, and we're gonna have to get a few innings out of Diaz, meaning like an inning and a third. I stand by that. I think we might get 4 or 5 out of Peterson, hopefully 5. We get a couple out of Lucchesi, maybe 2. That'll get us to 7. Oh shit! I mean, Betances is gonna have to pitch. Betances is gonna have to pitch today. Like, I feel like 3, like if Betances is pitching, 3 runs isn't enough for them. Let's go 6-4. Let's go 6-4.
I was actually gonna say 6-5. I'm gonna have the Mets 6-5, and I have the Mets scoring 3 runs in the first 3 innings. I think they get to Nola early. I think they put some runs on the board, and I think they hold on 6-5. It's gonna be a nail biter. They're gonna have bases loaded in the 9th, and we hold on to win it.
Also, yeah, the new Yankee Stadium is not great. I prefer the old Yankee Stadium for sure. I've been there a few times. I've been to both. I try to go to the Subway Series in both stadiums every year. It's just great. Those are the best times to go. But yeah, Yankee Stadium's they try to do too much with it. It's like they're trying to make
it's not a baseball stadium.
It's not a baseball stadium.
You go there, you feel like you're at a freaking museum.
I'm like at a business meeting half the time. It's like I feel like I gotta wear a suit at a baseball game.
I don't know, man. The Yankees just aren't for me. They're just not for me. I mean,
they're boring. Watching Yankee games is boring.
You wouldn't be allowed to be a Yankee. You got a beard.
Oh yeah, I'd be murdered.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, how are you gonna tell your baseball players they can't have facial hair? I'm sorry. I'm not a Yankee guy. I
want to see what happens to Odor, who they traded, because he naturally has a gigantic beard.
Well, Johnny Damon shaved his. I mean, if he did, anybody could. He looked like Jesus with the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, and the Yankees suck. I don't think they suck, but they got to beat the Rays. I can't wait to see Yankee fans crumble if they can't get past the A's. And Josh, you're right. If Betances comes in, I'm saying 7-5 Mets. You're right. I'm glad that we all had that thought in our head. It's like, well, if Betances is pitching today, tack on 2 runs. tack on 2 runs to the other side. Yeah, because ideally, Betances maybe gets an out or 2, gets in trouble. Diaz has got to close him out. But if Diaz comes in with runners on base, that's where my confidence is not there. I think he could have a clean 9th. But he's probably giving up a run. It won't be his run, but JD, well, what do we got here? Mets win 6-4. Yeah, spot on. You think he's going to have another blunder? I hope Rojas has a clean game today. He's not starting off hot, though. I don't love where the lineup is, but yeah, so 6-4. I feel good about it. I guess we're nearing first pitch here, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to relax, watch the game today because I got to call the Knicks game. And I think the Knicks start at 7:30, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll be live at 7:25 for that. I usually go 5 minutes before, and then we'll talk about the Mets game maybe at the beginning, jump into the Knicks. But I had an absolute blast on here, talking some pregame with you. Should be a good game today. Rubber match against the division rival. Then the Mets come right back tomorrow. You know, that we didn't talk about that. It's not great. I mean, I think we're playing a day. Oh, yeah, they're playing them all, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we played them all.
And then we're on Friday. Yeah. So they play a day game tomorrow. I think it's a 1:00 start, if I'm not mistaken, because it's opening day at the stadium. Well, if we're just playing at 4:00 today, so not a lot of rest after this game. So the Mets are going to have to bounce back quick and find a way to win against Miami. So it's a big game to win today, being that you have not a lot of rest going into tomorrow. It might be a challenge tomorrow as well.
And not only that, I kind of am hoping that Peterson gives us more than what we think his floor is. Nick the Wick, I will check your comment. It's Manny Machado, nice. Threw you a warm-up ball. 16 rows back near the foul pole. Everyone was looking at the kiss cam. Dude, the kiss cam is overrated. It's dying out. COVID's going to kill the kiss cam.
Oh, God.
You know
what I was always worried about with the kiss cam? When I was younger, my sister is a huge Mets fan. I go all the way back to 2000. She's younger than me. She's 5 years younger than me. So when Piazza was on the team, 99, 2000, she was like 9, 10 years old. She used to dress up as Mike Piazza. She'd wear the Piazza jersey. She'd put the fake beard on her face. She was like the biggest Mets fan as a kid growing up. And when I'd go to games with her when we were older, I'd always worry that they'd put us on the kiss cam together.
That is a fear.
Yeah,
that's definitely a fear. Luckily, I had no sisters, but it could be awkward for me and my brother to get on there too. So that would be just as bad.
Well, 2021. In today's day and age, I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that.
Anything's possible. 7-5. Let's get the dub, guys. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate all this stuff. Make sure you tune into Entertainer stream for the Knicks game. He's going to talk some Mets before that. Hopefully, you guys could tell him how much the Yankees suck there, and hopefully, we celebrate our first series win of the season and our second win overall of the season. So let's go. Let's go, Mets. Let's fucking go, Mets.
Let's go, Mets, baby. Let's go. Looking forward to it.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.